Warlocks are the mage class of the Destiny universe. They use their powerful magical abilities to buff their fire teams and deploy their minions to cause havoc and devastation across the battlefield. In this video, we're covering the 5 Warlock subclasses and showing you a PvE build for every subclass. The Voidwalker Warlock is similar to Necromancer builds in other MMOs. This subclass is built around the buff Devour, which gives us full health on kills when we use the aspect Feed the Void. Our build is the Soul Devourer and combines the Controverse Hold Gauntlets with the Graviton Lance exotic pulse rifle. Controverse refunds our grenade energy when we get hits with our grenades. We combine this with the aspect Feed the Void, which gives us Devour when we get a Void ability kill, and every enemy becomes fuel to keep us alive, even in harder content. Our second fragment is Child of the Old Gods, which creates a Void Soul when we cast our Rift. When we shoot enemies, it flies out and drains the life out of everything inside its radius. When we use a Healing Rift, that energy is converted into grenade and melee energy for us. Graviton Lance's exotic perk is Cosmology, which creates void projectiles that seek and destroy nearby enemies. For our abilities, we take Vortex Grenades and a Healing Rift. This build is great in solo content where there are lots of ads, since we're literally consuming our enemies and using them to fuel this build. If you want to try out any of our builds, we left dim links down in the description. Next up, we're turning up the speed factor with the Stormcaller. Stormcallers are archmages, and they're not just fast. They're strap on your goggles and clench your butt cheeks fast. This subclass basically allows us to bring our own fire team by summoning an arc turret that literally follows us and shoots enemies. Enter our build, the Trinity Star, which combines the Fallen Sunstar exotic helmet with the Trinity Ghoul bow. Fallen Sunstar improves the ability energy we get from ionic traces. We combine this with the aspect Electrostatic Mind, which makes our arc ability kills generate ionic traces. So then, kills by our arc turrets, melee, and grenade feed us more ability energy. Our second fragment, Arc Soul, will let us summon these arc turrets when we cast our Rift. Even better, any member of our fire team who passes through our Rift gets their own arc buddy. Add to this Trinity Ghoul's exotic perk, Chain Lightning, where precision kills grant our next shot Chain Lightning, and we're generating more energy than the Energizer Bunny chugging Red Bull. For our abilities, we run Pulse Grenades, Ball Lightning, and a Healing Rift. Our next subclass is the Dawnblade. This Fire Mage subclass has 2 major build types, Fire Team Medic and Scorched Earth Demon. The Restoration buff gives us insane health regeneration, while the Scorch debuff burns and ignites our enemies. And it all comes together with the Well of Radiance super. Well Warlock is the most requested role in endgame content, from Nightfalls and dungeons to raids and Grandmasters, because it gives us and our fire team near invincibility when we're standing inside its radius. It's probably the most overpowered super in the game. Our build is Gift of the Gods, and combines the Sunbracers exotic with the Sunshot hand cannon. Sunbracers gives us unlimited solar grenade energy for 5 seconds when we get a melee kill. We combine this with the aspect Touch of Flame, and now our solar grenades last longer and they shoot out blobs of lava. Our second aspect, Heat Rises, allows us to consume our grenade to gain restoration, and rain down our remaining grenades from the air. When we add Sunshot and the fragment Ember of Empyrean, we can extend the healing of restoration by getting solar weapon kills. And Sunshot's exotic perk creates solar explosions on kills that spread Scorch to surrounding enemies, basically creating a never-ending chain of healing and fiery explosions. For abilities, we take Solar Grenades, Incinerator Snap for our melee, and Phoenix Dive. 2 more subclasses to go, and we've got some real bangers here. But before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, drop a like. If we hit 50 likes on this video, we'll cover Hunters next. The Shadebinder is the Ice Mage subclass, and may be the most underrated build on this list. Shadebinders don't help their teammates by healing them, but by controlling the field of battle. This is chiefly by using the aspect Bleak Watcher, which allows us to charge our grenade and create a stasis turret that slows and eventually freezes targets. Our build is Captain Cold and combines the osmiomancy gloves with the Wicked Implement exotic scout rifle. Osmiomancy gives us 2 cold snap grenades. When we combine this with the Bleak Watcher aspect, we can drop 2 stasis turrets at a time and blanket the room in ice. Then we add our second aspect, Ice Flare Bolts, and now shattering frozen enemies spawn stasis seekers that track and freeze more targets. For our abilities, we take Cold Snap Grenades, Penumbral Blast, and a Healing Rift. With our enemies on ice, we can add Wicked Implement as well, which slows targets when we get sustained precision hits. And when we have the Catalyst equipped, it gets the perk Headstone, so precision kills spawn stasis crystals. This build is incredibly clutch, and carried our fire team in the higher difficulty coil activity this season. One final subclass, and I hope you've settled in because it's about to get weird. The Broodweaver is absolutely unique, and I would compare it to maybe a nature mage? Is that a thing? Someone help me out in the comments. Broodweavers create threadlings, which are like little strand minions that creep along the ground and attack our enemies. Our build is the Breeder, and combines the Swarmer's exotic legs with the Wishkeeper exotic bow. The Swarmers allow us to spawn a threadling when we destroy a tangle, and getting kills with Wishkeeper charges a trap shot that we shoot onto the battlefield. Any enemies that cross into the trap are immediately suspended. And when we get kills with our mint-flavored minions, they create even more tangles. So, release threadlings, charge our bow, shoot our trap, snag some enemies, create a tangle. Seriously, you have got to try this. Our abilities are the Threadling Grenade and a Healing Rift. Then we add the Weaver's Call aspect. Casting our rift creates threadlings, so we have 3 ways to spawn threadlings. Then add the Wanderer, which allows our thrown tangles to attach to targets and detonate in a suspending explosion. I was not prepared for how fun this build was to play. That's all 5 subclasses on Warlock. If you'd like to see us do a dedicated video on any of the builds in this video, go to the comments and type the name of the build. And watch this video about Titan subclasses next.